Hello, my name is Hassan Sorrells, and this is the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast shorts. There's no co-host on these shorts episodes. These are now around 2 to 4 minute, sometimes as long as 6 to 10 minute observations, ideas, thoughts, or rants about the literature, philosophy, psychology, and even the theology of leadership. Because listening to me talk about leadership for now around 2 to 4 minutes is still better than reading and trying to understand yet another business book. Even that business book your coworker won't stop raving about because it quote-unquote changed their life, but you can't see any difference in their leadership behavior. So how good could that author be? This analysis occurred to me when I was reading that it would take approximately 10 years to rebuild a recently collapsed bridge. Problems of all kinds, from family to culture, from government to engineering, are indeed complex, but the solutions to problems across all domains are usually very simple. Usually the challenge with solutions to problems is that the solution to the problem, whatever the problem may be, is disagreeable to someone, somewhere, at some time. Disagreeableness, in terms of negotiation, means that the solution to the problem didn't meet one party or another's needs. But disagreeableness can also mean that the solution to the problem involved a tendency to behave on a part of either party in a rather combative, disagreeable way. Sometimes disagreeableness can come in the form of active resistance to a solution to a problem, or it can come in the form of active resistance to even the suggestion of any solution. Other times, disagreeableness manifests in the form of passive resistance and bureaucratic ennui. Many average people in our current Western society would rather avoid than fight active resistance. And if resistance comes in the form of passive resistance and bureaucratic ennui, well, so much the better. Then they can just declare that the quote-unquote system is quote-unquote broken and then move on to entertainment and the narcotizing effects of whatever distractions they enjoy. But when problem complexity rises to such a level that it impacts the entertainment or the dopamine rush or the distraction, the bread and the circuses, then people can find all sorts of creative solutions to previously seemingly intractable problems. See, motivation plus withdrawal of an addictive distraction plus an intractable problem equals a solution that is ill-considered, impatiently conceived, and will more than likely be poorly executed. Leaders who put brakes on this process are perceived as being disagreeable, unlikable, combative, quote-unquote too direct, and all the other terms of opprobrium that a person or that a leader can conceive or receive. And incompetent leaders care very much about maintaining a state of passive resistance and bureaucratic ennui, while also ginning up just enough active resistance and conflict to keep people distracted from what they are actually up to. Competent leaders, on the other hand, must wade through a minefield of challenges even before they arrive at the problem itself, much less before working out a solution to the problem that benefits the most people, even those people who resisted or actively fought or distractedly didn't pay attention. And if all of this that I'm describing seems emotionally exhausting, and I've only been talking for about 3 minutes here, that's because it actually is. And many competent people have only so much time and energy to focus on solving complex problems with really simple solutions, and then executing on the solution with minimal help and quite a lot of resistance, passive and otherwise. But in the face of all of that analysis, all that mental math, which most smart, competent people perform in their heads about 10 seconds after a problem is accurately described to them, in the face of all that analysis, there are still people willing to sacrifice properly and align properly to get problems solved, including willing to sacrifice 10 years to rebuild a bridge, or sacrifice personal relationships and being quote-unquote liked in exchange for saving lives and making sure that machines are supposed to work. Wait a minute. The machines that are supposed to work actually do work. You know, the doors staying bolted on the plane when it takes off. Bring on the unlikable leaders. And well, that's it for me. Thank you for listening to the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast today. And now that you've made it this far, you should subscribe to the audio version of this show on all the major podcast players, including Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Music, and everywhere else where podcasts are available. There's also a video version of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the video version of this podcast on the Leadership Toolbox channel on YouTube. Just search for Leadership Toolbox and hit the subscribe button there on YouTube. And while you're doing that, leave a 5-star review if you like what we're doing here on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Just go below the player and hit 5 stars. We need those reviews to grow, and it's the easiest way to help grow this show. And tell all your friends, of course, in leadership. By the way, if you don't like what we're doing here, well, you can always listen to another leadership show. There are several other good ones out there. At least that's what I've heard. All right. Well, that's it for me.